Who would have thought this? Normally after using a plastic bottle, most people think it has no value left other than being thrown away as trash. But what if I told you that from that discarded plastic bottle alone, we can actually turn it into a soldering iron that genuinely works? Sounds pretty hard to believe, right? Well, in this video I'm going to show everyone how to recycle it into something incredibly useful. Stick around and see exactly how I make it happen. After removing the outer plastic layer from the bottle, I'll drill a hole right in the bottle cap with the proper size so that a spark plug can be attached to it easily. To make it easier to run the electrical wire through, I'll make a small hole at the bottom of the plastic bottle. Here I have an old spark plug that I decided to reuse for this project. Normally, spark plugs are built to withstand extremely high temperatures during operation, which means they are very capable of handling and transferring heat efficiently. In this design, I'll use the spark plug as a central connecting component, allowing it to link the power source coming from the electrical wire while also securely attaching to the recycled soldering tip at the front, making it possible for heat to transfer directly to the tip during use. But to improve heat transfer even further, I'll use a bypass connection method by connecting the threaded tip of the spark plug to its threaded body using a short piece of electrical wire, allowing heat to transfer faster and more efficiently during operation. Next, I've prepared a longer piece of electrical wire that will be used to connect the power source directly to the spark plug. This is the same type of wire as the shorter piece I used earlier, both being single-core electrical wire, which helps provide stable conductivity and works well with the design I'm building. The end of this electrical wire will be connected directly to the ground contact of the spark plug. On the other end of this wire, I'll attach an alligator clip to make connecting it to the power source easier and more secure during operation. Here I have several old used AA batteries, and normally once they run out of power, most people simply consider them useless waste. But what many people overlook is that inside these batteries there is a metal core rod positioned at the center. This core is made from a material that has relatively good thermal conductivity, while also being mechanically strong enough to handle reshaping and physical processing. Because of its stable heat transfer properties and its ability to tolerate heat quite well, it can actually be repurposed into a compact soldering tip. So for this project, I'm going to choose one of these old batteries, extract the inner core, and turn it into a useful component for this build. And here is what the metal core inside that AA battery actually looks like. At first glance, it may seem small and nothing special, but don't underestimate it just yet. Very few people would imagine that such a simple-looking piece could actually be repurposed for something surprisingly interesting. I think you're going to be genuinely surprised when you see what it can do by the end of this video. To create a solid connection between the threaded end of the spark plug and the recycled soldering tip, I'll be using an additional metal connector, which is a sliding metal piece along with two small bolts. I removed this part from an old electrical terminal block, and it will act as a linking component to securely hold both parts together during operation. But the process doesn't stop there. For this device to work properly, I still need to make another component whose job is to connect the negative terminal of the power source to the material being soldered. And to make this part, I only need three very simple things: one piece of electrical wire and two alligator clips. I know that many people may not have a battery pack available to power a device like this, so to make this project easier for everyone to replicate, I'm also going to show you a simpler alternative by using a common battery holder as the power source for this entire project. Here I have two metal washers, and I'm going to reuse them as an intermediate connector to make it easier and more secure to connect the soldering iron with the common battery holder. In my opinion, a good soldering iron is not defined by how much heat it can generate, but by whether that heat is actually enough to firmly bond metal parts together without damaging them in the process. And instead of analyzing everything or giving conclusions too early, I think the best thing right now is for everyone to simply watch how it performs in real conditions. For the tests at the end of this video, I'm not going to give any judgment beforehand, because I want you to experience the results for yourself, form your own opinion, and leave your thoughts in the comments. As for my personal take, I'll keep that for the ending after every test has been successfully completed. And in the end, everything has led us to a result even more interesting than I originally expected. From old discarded items that most people would throw away without a second thought, like a used plastic bottle, an old AA battery, or even a spark plug that seems to have no value left, we can still find an opportunity to turn them into something useful once again. Maybe the most fascinating part of projects like this is not simply creating a new tool, but learning to see discarded objects from a completely different perspective. And sometimes, with just a little creativity, the things we threw away yesterday can become something valuable all over again today.